Hi, Dennis Jones is my name, Senior Advisor here at CCA Financial Planning in Melbourne. Fortunate today to have with me Chris Wren. How are you, Chris?
Good to be Dennis.
For those of you that don't know, Chris is quite well known within the health professions. He's a financial advisor specialising in that space, and he's also an author of a book called Financial Hygiene. I really enjoyed this book, I must say, because it's the practical information in here for health professionals, in particular dentists, vets, but chiropractors, doctors. The practical information in here is fantastic. And I love the way you've got checklists and really useful info for the doctors themselves, because as we all know, they're often wonderful in their space, but sometimes finances aren't something that come naturally.
Not their strength.
Can you tell us a little bit about the background of the book, Chris?
The book is called Financial Hygiene, which is business and financial services guide for dentists. But as you said, Dennis, it's not just for dentists, it's for all health professionals really. It came about by someone who's referred to me a number of years ago. And they came to see me. They had quite a complex situation. They had a lot of assets, had a lot of property. And we offered to give them some advice, and we gave them a proposal. And interestingly, it just all kind of went away and followed up, and took some time to actually get back onto this person again. And what had happened in that last 6 to 8 weeks since we last spoken to him, this poor guy, dentist, had actually had a massive heart attack at 53. And from my point of view, it doesn't get any worse for me, because all the things we talked about, all the things that you and I can do as financial planners, the structures, the asset protection, the insurance, the legacy planning for your family, all those things that we recommended were never followed up on. And what it boiled down to was that one of their trusted advisors said, don't spend the money.
It wasn't the accountant.
Probably.
Don't answer that. Don't answer
Possibly.
that. We might get sued if you answer that. Look, I guess look, I totally understand, your passion for this too. We've done a lot of work. We've actually created software in this called C3, which is short for client-centric consulting, where we place the client at the centre of everything we do.
Right.
And I know that's your passion as well. And that's how actually Chris and I met, just through a mutual contact, who realised we were both pretty passionate about placing the client at the centre and then providing advice and services with constant reference to the client's needs. And of course, under FOFA, the new Future of Financial Advice rules, placing the client's best interest is now actually law. Mind you, we've worked that way forever.
Yes.
But look, I'm back to the book. I'm just really impressed with this. Having had a go at writing a book myself, and having stalled a little bit, I really admire you for it, and for the practical reference that it is a practical sort of manual.
Yes.
For the dentist or the other health professional. Has the dental profession taken this up?
Yeah, they have, and it's fairly early days because the book came out at the end of March. The book's now an endorsed author by the Australian Dental Industry Association. So the book is available on that website now for the members to actually purchase the book if they want that. It's also, I've done some talks with some dentists where they've asked me to come along and talk about this topic, if you like. Because it's not just financial planning, business planning, I mean, it's just getting your financial affairs in order. And the book is structured in a way that, as you said, it's pretty easy to follow and lots of tips, but it also covers all the things that you may or may not have thought of. So it gives you practical guidance as to how to find a good advisor. Like one question is, how do we know? Well, we know what a good advisor is, but how does someone out there looking for a financial advisor, how do they know when they're getting good advice or if they're a good advisor?
It's interesting. That's a really interesting question, because you could put it the other way around and say, if you're a patient and you're going to a medical specialist.
Yes.
In my case, maybe an ex-surgeon, a neurosurgeon, because I've got rid of issue with my neck following a ski accident. I mean, we're asking the same questions of the surgeon.
Absolutely.
About their expertise and experience in that area, that I guess the client looking for good financial advice or tax advice or structure advice. So I really appreciated here you've got checklists of questions to ask the advisor to determine if indeed they have the experience, if they're an appropriate advisor for you. Damien Butler and I mentioned to you, Damien Butler, one of the accountants we work with. Damien's also very passionate in this space as well, and we're doing a video on that issue, how to find a good advisor, because so many people do have, in fact, advisors that may not be the right fit for them, and yet how would they know? And they may be in that space for 20 years, not getting proactive advice, not getting the best structure advice or the best asset protection advice or the best investment or insurance advice. So I think that section of the book is brilliant, because if you're not getting the right fit in terms of advisor, then obviously that could really compromise your position.
And Dennis, in the book, not only did I interview dentists for the book, and there's a number that I interviewed, and they asked to be kept anonymous on the basis that they're so terrible with their money, and I respected that for them. But I also interviewed and asked what I believe to be good accountants, good lawyers, good legal counsel, and good finance brokers as to, well, what is it that actually makes you good, and how does someone know they're getting good advice from you? So the checklist that you're alluding to, financial planner, lawyer, accountant, finance broker checklist, they're actually all in the book. If you can get this team, and I know that you at CCA, you guys do this, if you can get the right team around you, the right financial planner, the right accountant, the right lawyer, and the right finance broker, you have the right team. If you need anyone else, they will know the other people anyway. But if you have all four, preferably all sitting around the table at the same time, you're covered financially.
Look, it is interesting, and I think the medical profession, with the GP referring to and then working with the specialist, and then communicating, I think that model is generally a good model, which within financial planning and accounting and legal, I think it's a model that should be mirrored within financial planning. But as you say, with good communication, because there's nothing more frustrating for a client than constantly restating their position. So, and that's where the C3 software I mentioned is fantastic, because with the client's permission we can provide the other trusted advisors with access. So the information is shared, but once again with the client's authority. Look, very impressed with this, and you mentioned not only dentists but vets as well. You're working. What's happening in that space?
Well, I've been fortunate that I've been able to write a couple of articles for some vet magazines. I did one recently on succession. And succession, that's a complex word, not to financial planners or accountants, but to people that aren't financial planners or accountants. Succession means how's it going to move from one place to the next, and who's going to take over from you, who's going to take the reins when you're ready to let them go.
We're talking in terms of the business owner, the dentist or the vet or the chiropractor or the medico that owns the practice, thinking about retiring.
Moving away, cutting down their hours.
Planning for it. Do you find often from your experience, we've had a bit of experience in this space as well, from my experience, people tend to often leave it until it's too late. And then they become a bit of a deal taker rather than a deal maker in terms of maximising the value for them and their families. Has that been your experience as well?
It has, and on top of that, not only is it left too late sometimes, unfortunately sometimes it's a critical event which renders them unable to work in the business full time, and they have no choice in that. So they're forced to make even more drastic decisions even quicker, and probably settle for a lot less than what they're hoping to get. So that leads on to what's called the legacy planning. Legacy, and you appreciate this, it's not just what we do and basically what we acquire over time, but it's who we then leave that to, and how the next generation and the next generation after that will get to take advantage of all your hard work all my hard work and all our clients' hard work to make sure it stays in the family. And we talk about that a bit in the book as well. And look, we don't give all the answers away. You can't do that because that's giving advice, and everyone's different. But
look, it is practically a really good reference, and I haven't seen anything quite like it. That's and I've been around for a long time. That wasn't a joke, by the way. I have been around for a long time, and I find it a great reference. And I think it's a really good tool, both for clients, health professionals, and their advisors to reference.
Absolutely.
And the checklists are fantastic. Chris, look, I'm looking forward to working with you. We obviously, between us, we can cover the eastern states, and we've got facilities, contacts in Sydney as well. So Queensland, Melbourne, and Sydney.
Yes.
But we're looking forward to working much closer with you to provide great advice and solutions for the dentists, the vets, the chiropractors, and other health professionals.
And get them to where they're trying to get to financially.
Fantastic. So thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Dennis. Thank you.